Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's session we are just going to do the hands-on that how can we create a stack using array. Okay, so array and structure are some of the things that we are going to use to create this stack, and we are also going to implement this ADTs, that is abstract data type. Other than it, there is an improvement in peak function. We can just provide the index and we can say that at which element is present at this particular index that we have in the array that we have used to create the stack. Okay, so how will it work, we will just see in the video. Okay, so I will just like you to move to this code blocks, and you can just firstly include two files, that is stdio.h, so that is standard input file, that is include, and std.h. Other than it, I will include a standard library uh, header file, that is stdlib.h. Okay, now I will create a structure. Okay, so we are just going to use structure to create stack, so I will just give the structure name stack, and I will open this parenthesis, curly braces, whatever you call it, and I will just give an integer variable name top. Other than it, I will give an integer variable with size and an integer variable that is integer pointer. Okay, now this pointer is going to be used to make a dynamic size array, that is dynamic, that is runtime array. Okay, and it's that is memory would be allocated in heap. Okay, now we are just going to create a function. We are just creating an stack. We are not going to return anything from this function, so we are giving a data type, that is return type as void. Okay, and I am just going to write create here. Other than it, this particular create function needs to make changes in the structure, so we are just going to give a call by reference. Okay, so struct which structure, so I am talking about stack structure, and I will just give an object of this structure is call by reference because I need to make the changes in this particular structure. So I am just going to use call by reference. If you only want the copy, that is you don't want to make the changes, you only need the value, okay, then you can use call by value, but I need to make the changes, so I am just going to use call by reference. Now I am just going to write a printf statement, and I am asking the user to suggest me the size of the stack. Okay, now it is not necessary that if user enters 5 as a size, then you need to input 5 elements. It's upon you. It says that this is the maximum size that a stack can consist. Okay, so I am just going to say enter size of stack. Okay, and I will just scanf, that is input from the user, scanf, and what am I inputting? I am inputting integer, so I am using integer format specifier percentage d and percent. Now I am inputting st arrow size. Now why have I used arrow? Because I am calling by reference. Okay, after that what am I doing? There is that I am firstly initializing the top variable as -1. Now why am I doing? Because uh, we are using array here. Okay, to make this stack, and we know that the index of the array starts from 0. Okay, so we are just putting this top variable, we are just giving this top variable a value that is present just before the index 0. Okay, that is -1. So if when we are entering an element to the stack, then this top variable can easily move to 0th index. Okay, that is why we are giving this -1. Okay, and now we are just dynamically allocating memory to an array. And how can we do that? So sts equal to, we are just using a malloc function here. Okay, malloc, and I will, what size of array do you need? You need the size of array to be same as size of structure, so I am just going to use st arrow into size of int, because I am going to make an integer array, so I am just going to typecast here int star. Okay, so int star malloc st size of int, it will give me if I am entering the size as 5, then it will give me an array of size 5. Okay, so that I can enter 5 elements. Okay, Now other than it, I need a function to display this particular structure. Okay, so what am I, so basically display does not need to make any change. We are just displaying the value. Okay, so we are just going to use call by value. And what are we looking at here is we need a for loop. So basically I am just going to declare a variable that is going to be used for iteration throughout the stack. And I will just give this I the value of top pointer. Okay, and and what am I going to do is I is greater than equal to 0 and I minus minus. That is what are we saying, that starting from the top of the stack, okay, till that is till you do not reach the 0th index that is present in uh, the 0th index of the element through which this stack is made. You need to iterate through this loop and print elements that are present in it. Okay, so printf, as they are integer, it is an integer array, there would be integer that is present in it. So st dot s of I. Okay, so it would be printing the element at ith index that is present in the stack. Okay, and after this print, I will just give another function that is printf and escape character n. So this is the function that is displacement. So we are creating a stack, we are displaying the stack. Now we want to push elements to the stack. So again, pushing, so basically push, we need to push, so we are making changes. So push, and we are going to call by reference. Okay, struct stack star st, and there would be an integer, okay, integer x that we need to push. Now what are we doing is we are checking that if stack is full or not. If stack is full, then we are just going to say that stack is overflowed, you cannot enter more element. So for that the logic is if st arrow top, that is if the top index equal to st arrow size minus 1. I have explained you this logic, yet I will explain it to you again. Have a look at this. Suppose the size of this stack is 3. Okay, now size equal to 3. Okay, now I am if you look at the index, so it is basically 0 1 2. Okay, so index here is 2, but this element is third element for the user. Okay, it is not the second element, it is the third element. Okay, so basically what am I checking is if index of this top element, okay, is equal to size minus 1. Why size minus 1? Because you can see that size of this stack is itself 3. Okay, but we are talking about index and index starts from 0. That is, therefore I am just subtracting minus 1 from the size. Okay, so index, if index of top equal to size minus 1, that is uh, it defines the stack is full. You cannot uh, that is you cannot input more elements. So this is the way, or say logic. So you can just use that logic here, and you are just going to uh, printf that this particular stack is overflowed. Okay, if this particular statement is false, then we are going to use else. And what are we going to do? We are first going to increment the top variable. What are we doing here? Let's have a look at that also. Suppose this stack of coin is present. Okay, this is the topmost element, the top variable is pointing this coin. Now what are we saying, this top variable need to point one more location above this current top point, so that we can say that there is one more coin going to be there, and then we are providing the coin to it. So this is the same concept that we are going to use here. That is, first of all I will just increment the top variable, and then what am I going to do is I will just so for that also you need to write st arrow st arrow top. Okay, so top plus plus. So what does it do is increment the top variable, and then we are going to assign it a value. So what are we doing here is st s of st top, that is we are going to insert one more element in the array that is present inside this stack. Okay, and what is that element? It is the element that is provided by user. Okay, so this is the push function. Now pop function, so we are taking an integer return type here. Why? Because pop function is going to return the topmost element that is present in the stack. So take an example here, that is, this is the topmost element that is present. Okay, so when we are using pop function, so what does pop function do? Pop function moves this topmost element out, and the top pointer, that is top variable, is now pointing to this because there is no element present on the top of this, so we need to shift the top variable to this particular element. Okay, so how can we do that? Have a look here. Okay, so what are we going to do? Basically we are moving something out of the stack, so we need to make the changes here also. So struct stack, and therefore we are going to use call by reference. Okay, and I am just going to write that first of all I will just see that if stack is empty or not. Why? Because just imagine that this is a stack. Okay, now imagine that these three elements are not present, that is stack is empty, and if the user is saying that remove something, now if something is not present, then what is the stack going to remove? So it is simply going to give a warning that there is nothing present in the stack that we can remove. So what are we going to check? That if st, okay, if equal to -1. Why? Because we have seen that firstly we have initialized it to -1, that is top variable to -1. Even after creating stack, if it is again -1, then we can say that we haven't inputted anything, because if we input it, okay, that is if we are keeping some elements in it, then we are seeing that we are incrementing it. Okay, we are incrementing the top variable. So if there is no element that is added, then the top variable would not be included, and its value would be -1 again. So if it's -1, then we can just say that printf there is nothing present in the stack, that is stack underflow. Okay, so this is what we are going to print. And first of all, what we need to do here is we need to declare a variable x equal to -1. We are just assigning this x as -1, and y you can just see. And what happens is if this statement is false, okay, that is if stack is not empty, then what are we going to do? We are first of all, what are we going to do is we are assigning this x a new value that is equal to st, and the value would be equal to the uh, element that is present in the array of which this stack is made. Okay, so s, and what would be it? St and st top minus minus. So what happens here is it gives the x the value of topmost element that is present in the stack, and then it decrements the value of that topmost pointer. Okay, so this element is first of all given x element is given the value of this element, and then this element is removed, and the top variable that is present is given the value of this new index. Okay, so 0 1 2, so 2 is decremented and it is 1 now, and this element is not present. So this is what happens here in this particular line. Okay, uh, and now we are just going to return x, that is if x if stack is empty, then this particular printf statement would be executed, and this x value would be -1. If stack is not empty, then x would be assign a new value, and then that particular would be a value would be written. Okay, after that we are just going to make int is empty. Okay, so how can we make that? Now we don't need to change anything, so I will just use call by value. So how can we check that it is empty or not? So we are just simply going to use the same condition, that if st arrow top, okay, now not arrow, we are just going to use dot operator because we are calling by value. Okay, is equal to -1. Okay, then return 1. Now why return 1? 1 means true, and if it is not, that is if it is not empty, then return 0. 0 means false. Now you need to remember that only one return statement is executed. If this if loop, if this if conditional is right and the return 1 is executed, then the function is terminated here, that is user that is the function is terminated here, the program moves to the next thing. The return zero statement is not executed. Okay, so only one return statement can be executed, and this is the rule in C programming. Okay, after that I am just going to check is full. How can we do that? We are just not making changes with the values, so I will just give a call by value reference. So if st dot top equal to st sorry okay, st dot size minus 1. Okay, same logic I am using. Then what am I doing here is I am just going to return. Okay, because I just need to follow this, so I am just going to return 1, else I am going to return 0. Okay, 1 means true, 0 means false. After that, is full is empty. Is full is empty is done. Now other than it, what we can use is top. Okay, that is what is present on the top of the stack. So int, so stack top, and we are just going to provide the same structure. Okay, and what are we doing here is we will just check if the stack is not empty, is empty, that is pty, and we will provide the argument as stack object. If it is not empty, then we will just what we will do is we will just return. Okay, we will just return st, okay, dot s, then st dot top, that is the topmost element, else we are going to return minus 1. Okay, this is what int stack top is all about. Now int peak, okay, that is we are returning that is some element that is present at the particular index that user is providing. So in this function you just need to focus. Okay, so what are we doing? That struct, okay, and then stack. Remember that s is capital or else it will show error. I will use st and the index. Okay, index. Now what are we looking here is, first of all, we will see that if this formula is true, then we will say that invalid index is provided by the user. How can we what formula are we going to use? Just have a look. So st dot top minus index that is provided by user plus 1 is less than 0, then we will say that printf invalid index. Now why is it so? Just have a look at here. Okay, so okay, what are we doing here is basically you can just see here this particular stack. Okay, now just consider this this particular stack, and what are we doing here is we are checking that we want the element that is present at this particular index. Okay, now index means index of the array. Okay, now what happens is, now suppose the person wants some element that is present on the this particular okay, consider this. Okay, this particular index. Okay, that is 0 1 2. Okay, 0 1 2. Okay, so if this particular thing is less than 0, then we come to know that the index that the person is providing is basically not present in the array. How? Just look at it. Okay, so first of all, suppose the person is providing, that person wants to find the third element. Okay, so third element would be 1 2 3. Okay, so person want to find the third element. Okay, so just imagine that is the person want to find the 0th index element. Okay, so what happens here is the person is trying to find the third element that is present in the stack. So what happens is the index would be 0. How? But why? Because the third element for the user is from the top. Okay, because the stack is always starting from the top. What happens is the topmost element is firstly coming out. So topmost element is given the value 1 when it comes to the user. But according to the array we are using, it is basically present on the 0th index. Okay. So what happens here is, suppose the user want to find the third element. Okay, so 1 2 3. So basically what happens is st.top is here 2 and user want to find the third element. So 2 minus 3 plus 1 is equal to 0, but it is not less than 0. Now suppose the user want to find the fourth element. Okay, 1 2 3 and fourth, but fourth element is not present only. Okay, then how can the user find fourth element if it is not present? And why is fourth element not present? Because the size of the array that is there, also the topmost element that is there, its value is something that is showing us that it can contain only three elements. Okay, because consider it. Okay, 0 1 2, so top is considering consisting of two. So we know that the array index starts from 0, sorry, 0. And if we are user is saying to find the fourth element, then it would be present on -1, but it is not possible in case of array. Okay, so this is why this formula is made, that is st.top, that is it is checking this top. Okay, so its value is 2 here. Okay, index is so basically index is that is the element that the user want to find, so it is basically third. But array's index is, what's array index? It is 0. Okay, plus 1 is less than 0, so you can just check that top is 2, then minus index. So minus index is basically what is the index here? So index here is the index of the element that the user is trying to find. So user is trying to find the third element. Okay, so for the third element, the index of the array should be equal to 0. So value should be something that can give 0, because we are trying to find the third element as per user, but in the array it is present as zeroth index. So just take an example of this particular stack. If the user is finding the third element from the top, okay, then the index needs to be 0. So consider it that here the top value is 2, the user is trying to find the third element, so 3 is here, so 2 minus 3 plus 1, so it is equal to 0. So zeroth index element is specified. Now suppose the user is trying to find the second element from the top. Okay, so what happens is 2 minus 2 plus 1, so 1. So first index element user will get. So if this particular statement is true, then you need to print this, but if it is false, okay, then what you need to do is, in that case what we need to do is, we are just going to say that we are just going to assign a value to x, and x that value would be equal to st dot, okay, s, and I will just say st dot. Now look at this. Okay, top minus index plus 1 plus 1, same formula I would be applying. And first of all I will just initialize x here, but now because I need to return something. Okay, int x equal to -1. Okay, so this is all about it, and after it you can just go here and return x. So this is all about the functions, that how can we create the stack. Okay, and then how can we display the stack, how can we push element in stack, how can we pop, how can we see if stack is empty, is full, what is the topmost element that is present in the stack. Okay, and now just we are going to make a main function, so int main. So in that main function I am going to just create an object of type stack. Okay, and after that I will use the create function, and as it contains an argument of object of a structure of type stack, I am just going to write and %st, because we are using the call by reference value. Okay, and after that just let me make it full screen. After that we are just going to push elements. So push, in that push also we are also calling by call by that is reference. So again ampersand st1, and I will just copy this statement. I will just give the stack value 5, so I will just enter 4 elements. Okay, now what I will do is I will just call pop function, and I will give st here, and I will see that what is pop. So pop is also called by value reference, called by reference, sorry. so I will just give n percent here. After that, as pop function will return some integer, and I want to print them all to be printed in new line, so I will just give an escape series here. So hash, that is slash n, and after that what I will do is printf. Now I will just check if all my functions are working properly or not. That is printf is empty, and I will just provide st here, and I want the result to be printed in new line. Okay, every result. So now what I will do is I will just copy this whole path, Control C, Control V, Control V, and in place of is empty, I will just do is full. Okay. Other than it, what is present? Just check is empty, is full, and we need to provide stack top. Okay. So okay, I will just write here stack top. Okay, because the function is made. And other than it, is full, is empty is done, push pop is done, display and create is done. What I need to do is peak. Okay, so peak basically consists of, I will just paste one more thing. Okay, so peak basically consists of, okay, and it will be making it won't be making any changes. It will just consist of argument of object of type structure whose name is stack, and the index, that is the element from the top that you need to find. So if it is third, okay, so what are we are creating an first of all we are creating a stack, we are pushing four elements. Okay, and we are then removing this element, and just let me change the value 1 2 3 3 and 4. So what are we doing here? Fourth element is entered at last. Okay, and then we are using pop function. So pop function will return this four, that is remove this 4. So 3 to 1 is present. So I will just write that is from top, that is 3 to 1. So 3. So it will it would just print it would just print, I think so, 1. Okay, just have a look. I don't know if it is true or not, but as per my calculation and the logic that I have made, first of all pop function will remove this 4 from the stack, then 3 to 1 is present, so, and we are giving that third element from the top here to be printed, so it would be definitely 1. Okay, and the result of is empty is 0, is full is also 0 because it is not full, and stack top would be something 3 to 1, so it would be just printing 3 here. Okay, so now I will just return 0 because my int main function is not returning anything. And first of all I would just like to close this console. It was regarding previous program, and I will just rebuild this program. Okay, now what happened here is there is an error. I forgot to do an arrow here, and I will just rebuild again. What happens here is in place of struct I will have written structr, it is not valid. Okay, what's error here? This is the process of debugging. We all need to do this. Okay, so what happens here is if st slash top is equal to -1. So what's the error in it? I don't get it easily, so I will just go to logs and see what happens is dereferencing pointer to the type struct. Okay, okay. So basically the name here is different. So it is basically stack stack. Now I will just run it again. Int empty struct stuck st. So what is the problem here again? It is not struct, it is basically stack. The same problem is coming. Okay, just remove this also. Just improve the name. Okay, everywhere, because it's not valid to give a different name than the name of the structure. Okay, now just run this program, and the program is running. I will give the value 5. Okay, now what happens here is, see, first of all I have created the element, sorry, I have created an uh, stack, then I am entering 1 2 3 4. Okay, and now what I have done is pop, so 4 is been removed out. Okay, and what happens here is I have not printed this value, so it is not been printed. I will show you when I run this program once again. Okay, so 4 is removed out. Now when you see this is empty is present, okay, so it is not empty, so its value is 0. Is full is present, it is not full, therefore because we are entering 4 elements, that is we have first push 4 element then remove 1, so yet 2 spaces are left, therefore it is showing 0. At the top, as I said that after removing 4 the 3 is on the top, therefore it is returning 3. And from the top, as I said, from the top third element is 3 to 1, so it is returning 1. Okay, now just have a look at this printf. Okay, percentage d. Okay, and pop of st, because it's going to return something. Okay, and I am just going to use a slash in here. Okay, because I need that in new line, but I have already done it, so I will just remove this statement. And what's the last function I need to do is I need to run the display function. Okay, so display, and st is the argument. Okay, okay, I will just open this console once again, close this console, and I will rebuild the program. So 5. Okay, so what is it doing? Just have a look. First of all, as I said that I have created, then I have pushed 1 2 3 4, then printf percentage d pop. So it would definitely pop 4 out because it was the last element that was inserted in the stack. So first in last, sorry, last in first out concept is used here. Therefore last 4 was in, and so when I use pop, 4 would be first out, so it is returning 4. Again the stack is not empty, so 0. Stack is not full, so 0. Now stack top element is now 3 to 1, so 3, and the last element is 1. Now when I do print function, it starts from the top. Okay, so first in, last in first out, so last in was 3, after that 2 and 1. Okay, so we are seeing that our all the functions that we have used is working correctly. So create, display, pop, push, is empty, is full, stack top, and peak functions are working correctly. I hope that you like this hands-on session, and I will attach this file to the video link itself. So what you can do is you can just download this file and run it and just see that what exactly is happening here. Okay, so I hope that you enjoyed this session. Have a great day.